Thanks, Brae, for joining us again today. The last time you were here with us, we heard about your life in the US Virgin Islands, a little bit about your background, as well as this move that you made to the United States for college. So, catch us up. Lots of people from the Caribbean, young people from the Caribbean, applied to the United States for college, and they are on the lookout for tips for individuals who've been successful. I'm wondering if you have any pieces of advice to share for individuals who might be in your shoes, the shoes that you were in before when you were applying to college.
So yeah, I there was a little bit of no rhyme or reason to how I applied to college, right? So I would say some things that I did do was go on a college tour. I did two college tours. The first one was an all HBCU college tour, and it was all East Coast. We traveled from New York down to Texas and back. And then the second college tour was a Northeastern college tour, and it was all predominantly white institutions. And I remember during that, in the in between time, I had decided I'm only applying to HBCUs because I had a blast and it was just so nice to go to HBCUs and see people that look like you know, on campus and thriving. And so it was like, I'm only going to an HBCU. And my mom was like, okay, I think you should you know, your open up, don't restrict yourself to just that in terms of applying. And so that's one thing I would definitely pass on and suggest to everyone. Not in terms of H only applying to HBCUs restricts yourself, but in terms of making sure that you have a breadth of schools that you're applying to if possible. And now we have like a lot of aid in terms of application, like applying to different schools. So you shouldn't limit yourself based on like, you know, the application fee and stuff like that. You should apply to a breadth of schools. And in when you think about those schools that you want to apply to, you should think about how do you learn? How do you need to be supported in your learning process? Um, and of course, what do you want to do, right? Like, if you should go to a school that is strong in the things that you want to do, because that means that they have a lot of support for that major or whatever, you know, profession basically, and they have a lot of connections with their alumni. And then another thing I tell people, especially coming from the Virgin Islands and it's a small community, is you want to consider the size of your school. I went to private school. I know a lot of, you know, that might not be the case for a lot of people, but going to a smaller school might have been a better option for me because I'm going to a classroom of my entire class was 33 kids, right? So the classes that I'm going to, it's probably like 15 kids in a class or something like that. Whereas you're going to a college or university and now there's like 100 plus kids in your one-on-one classes. And that, although there's office hours and things, if you're not familiar and accustomed to utilizing those options, you might get intimidated by a classroom size of 100 plus students, especially there's no way a professor can give personalized attention in that classroom period, right? They might not even know who you are.
Why is learning style and classroom size so important? It seems as though it's something that you've thought about a lot, and that's why you're sharing it with people who are listening.
Yeah, so it's kind of if learning style is really important because it's individualized, right? Not everybody learns the same. And if you don't I did not know what my learning style was. So I had no real strategy for studying, real strategy for writing or completing my tasks in school. Um, and I mean, I was fumbling through, and it's because I didn't know how I learned, right? And I didn't know, um, and again, that's important because we're going to college to learn all we can to support us in, the rest of our lives, right? And so, it's really important that you know that so that you're able to take advantage of all the opportunities in your college experience. Um, Classroom size is also really important. Again, going back to your teachers, having a connection and relationship with your teachers is important because I mean it's linked to learning style too, right? No two people are the same, right? Yeah. And some people may have similar learning styles, but no two people are the same. And so you could be struggling because of, you know, your learning style or, I have um I have learned later in life of my challenges with ADHD. I didn't know about that in college. And so that could be the reason why I'm failing a class. Whereas the reason why somebody's failing a class, it could be because of a challenge that's going on in their personal life. Maybe a parent or someone died, or um, they've experienced abuse. I mean, there's just a number of things that someone can be going through in a moment that can affect their their receiving of information education. And so when you have smaller classroom size and relationships with the teachers, the professors, they're able to recognize these things and work with you.
The transition to the United States for college or otherwise is one of the most stressful things any person can experience or encounter. Even if it might be exciting, it still requires you to adapt to so many different things. And it takes everyone a while to figure out how they learn and what environments may be best suited to help them to learn. But one of the things you mentioned, and we'll get more into this the next time, is that you recognized later in life that you had ADHD. So certainly a smaller classroom where there were less distractions and more opportunities for you to engage with the teacher would have been better for you and would have allowed you to absorb material much more.
So one of the things that I would suggest people from the Caribbean trying to go to college, that I suggest they apply to the University of the Virgin Islands. It is a HBCU, and it's located actually we have two campuses. There's one on St. Thomas and there's one on St. Croix. And the reason why I recommend this is because coming from an island, again, that transition from the islands to the States might be a drastic one that you might not be prepared for, to be honest. And the University of the Virgin Islands is accredited. Again, it's an HBCU, and they have strong programs in business and science courses. They actually are connected to Boston University. So if you're also interested in medicine, they have an early medical program where you get accepted early after 3 years to Boston University. But they have a lot of different options. And, you may feel comfortable going to another island versus going to the States. So, and I know most of the people that I know that I went to the University of the Virgin Islands are successful. So it is an option. Another tip I would give everyone is that there are summer programs at a lot of universities across the US. And so if you know where and even if you don't know, I'll be honest, because I didn't know where I was going to go, who I was going to be. Me going into public health, that was not anything I had planned from high school. But I did Junior Statesman of America program, but there are other programs that allow you to go to spend a summer at a college or university, and take classes. And it kind of gives you a pseudo environment of what college is going to be like. And you can go to places where either you're interested in that college or you're interested in that city, living in that city. So I think that was like a good thing that a lot of my peers my peers from high school participated in.
How wonderful. Thank you.